Stronghold tier list, let's go.
Joe, you sleepy fuck, the creator hasn't finished all the Stronghold games on the channel.
We got permission to do this since he's played them in his own time, you dumbass. The Stronghold 2 gameplay with our commentary isn't getting a lot of views, so he wants us to do tier lists.
It ain't our fault his content is shit that no one wants to watch. Speaking of shit, where's Obama?
Shit, my bad. I just got home from an outing with Michelle.
Finally, let's get started. Stronghold 1 personally is a S tier. It was good enough that it spawned an entire series, and the plot was good, not going too much into detail.
True, the missions were challenging, but not in the realm of impossible. The mechanics of the game are fun and aren't too complex, and is a good entry-level strategy game.
You two decrepit old bones praise it too much. You can't remap keybinds and the pixel art shows its age. There are only the war and peace campaigns that limit replayability, so I would place it at B tier.
There's no way we're putting a gem like Stronghold 1 into B tier. I'll put it into A tier because I'm in a good mood. And the replayability aspect of it.
Next is Stronghold Crusader. I would put it as S tier because the old mechanics of Stronghold 1 are there, plus the new Middle Eastern theme is pretty cool.
I enjoyed playing the historical campaign, and it has much more content like the skirmish trail. The new Arabian units and AI lords add nice variety, and overall it was a great sequel to Stronghold 1 that cements itself in S tier, even if it's really old.
True, the game gets updates by dedicated community members showing how well it has aged, and overall rightfully deserves its spot in S onward to Stronghold 2.
The plot sucks and is a near-carbon copy of Stronghold 1. There are graphical glitches and the new mechanics suck ass like the Crime 1 D tier.
While I agree with those criticisms, it was their first attempt at a 3D game that went all right considering the graphical glitches and is rarely unplayable. The new mechanics add a layer of complexity, and it's one of those things that people either like or dislike. I also like the historical castles you can defend and siege in the game, and wish they did the same thing for the other Stronghold games. I would put it at B tier.
Even though Barkley gets jailed and it has a shorter skirmish trial, it has a certain charm and legacy to it. Put it in B tier and let's move on to Stronghold Legends.
I personally don't like a fantasy setting, but it refines the mechanics that it is better in Stronghold 2 in certain aspects, while worse in others. I think C tier is fair.
The Legend campaigns have interesting folklore, but the number of units and buildings they have leads to unbalanced gameplay. It suffers from the great idea, poor execution problem, and suffers from unplayable crashes like Stronghold 2.
I fucking hate those demon bats. For 200 gold, you can spam these fuckers knocking off a stack of archers and crossbowmen from a tower, and then spam hellhounds and werewolves. It's fucking bullshit. I would place it at C tier for the plot in the Legends campaign and some of the new changes they did, but I wouldn't play it again.
Speaking of bullshit, Stronghold 3, this fucking game was so fucking bad I'd rather nuke ourselves F tier.
It removed features that made the previous Stronghold good, and worst of all, the freezes and crashes at every level. It looks like shit, and I couldn't even have the patience to keep restarting. F tier.
I'd rather pay $20 to a homeless person than buy this shit game. It's not only fucking criminal that they just abandoned it, even though it canonically follows Stronghold 1, but they fucking added DLCs afterward. So fuck the bullshit that Firefly didn't have time to finish the game and fix the problems that it ended up in this state, and for how much they charge for this. Fucking F tier.
Let's talk about something less disastrous like Stronghold Crusader 2. It personally never stuck to me, but the graphics were good, and overall it was all right C tier.
No way this is going to C tier with Stronghold Legends. The game is painfully boring with forgettable new mechanics. New units that break game balance yet again, but are worse than Legends, and the rework of the economy was stupid, and the gameplay is much more slower. D tier.
I hate to agree with Joe, but it's not his dementia talking this time. This shit was so boring I couldn't even finish all the missions, yet alone the DLCs. It's like a mixture of Legends and the original Crusader, but the worst aspects stand out along with the fact they reused voice lines from Stronghold 2, a 9-year-old game at that time. Toss it in D tier because it's at least a little playable.
Finally, on to the last game, Stronghold Warlords. I enjoyed the Asian theme, and it looks like they put effort into this game, unlike the past games. The environment is entirely remade with the new mechanics, such as the Warlord system, and the Asian units are fun and unique from the usual European units A tier.
There's a great amount of content from the campaigns, including DLCs, and the cutscenes are improvements from the older games that build hype and lore for the levels being played. There are multiple skirmish trails that build up on difficulty, which reminds me of the old Stronghold Solid A tier.
All right, Dick Riders, hold up. While the Asian theme was pretty cool, it painfully leaves out content for the Vietnamese side, where there's only one campaign while the Chinese have the most content. There's plenty of history for the different countries they added, so they could have added more content for them, but they're working on a new stronghold. Also, when I see warlords, I assume the Three Kingdoms periods of China, so they missed an opportunity there. I don't understand the timeline from the ancient era of 1000 BC to the late 1400s. It's so wide and misses out a lot on key historical events in East Asia. Not to mention they added Korean Hwacha units, but there's no Korean history playthrough with them besides playing as Japan and steamrolling them. If they were going wide on the time period, they should have just focused on Chinese history with an emphasis on more popular historical periods like the Three Kingdoms period that would have boosted interest in the game. Shout out to my boy Kong Ming, he was a great strategist when I first met him. He has a great talent for seeing opportunities when others don't.
Earth to Sleepy Joe, wake the fuck up and give a damn rating.
Oh, B tier above Stronghold 2. It has no bugs, but the creative direction was off.
Wait, didn't Kong Ming live in the 200s in China?
Nah, I met him on the sidelines at the G7 in Japan. He is helping someone named Aiko be a top singer there.
What the fuck?
Since we're done, I have to head out and roast Jellyfish Ron. That dumbass fucked his own campaign announcement by trusting Elon and Twitter.
Lamau, goodbye.
I have to still take care of this debt ceiling, so before the economy gets fucked, please like and subscribe.